Gaffer, many congratulations. You may not quite believe it just yet, but 2020-21 season is now over and your team have won it. That must feel like an incredible achievement given the amount of people who would have wanted to have dreamed of that success.
Yeah, incredible. Proud. Probably words I probably can't find. I'm not educated enough to find them. The lads have been absolutely top draw. It's been a 2-year promotion. To have the legs cut away from them the way they did in the playoffs last year, to do it without supporters here to feed off the energy, to do it in a condensed season on difficult pitches, to do it when you sign players in the summer and you can't have a team bonding day or a pre-season to get the group together as you want them. Loads of things sort of to come over that sort of adversity and to be together as what we have all season, to get promoted, win the league with top goal scorer 9 goals. It just shows how close the group are and how important the group are.
Yeah, like I said, 24 teams competed for this. There were some teams with, of course, good budgets, who would have been expected to be up there, and you've topped them all. That's a real sign, isn't it, of the progress that's been made by this football club over the last 2 and a bit years.
Yeah, I think to finish 16th a couple of years ago, but even then we had a really good run within that. And then to go last, I think that's the thing I'm most proud of is how the lads sort of come together after the playoffs. We did quite a big presentation at the start of this season, because what people forget is we got beat 3-0 by Northampton. We never saw the players again, so we weren't allowed. We weren't allowed any sort of contact. It was finish the game, get on. And the first time we saw them, so we had to try and put it to bed. How are we going to improve? How are we going to get better? How are we going to go one better? And word talk's cheap. Words are easy to say. They've taken it on. We've added a couple of players, three experienced players, but other players as well that have helped along the way. The younger ones, the older ones would take the plaudits, but people like Lewis and Ellis and people like that have come in. The loans have been good and brought in as well. So it's been a real collective effort, not just from the team either, by the way. It's the board have supported us, the supporters have clearly supported us in terms of the faces and the cardboard cut-out things and crowdfunders as well this season, the Man City game. So it's hopefully everyone watching this will be proud of the team, and that's the most important thing.
You mentioned some of the highlights there, including the Manchester City game. League Two clubs winning the league and taking one of the best teams in the world football to the last 10 minutes of possibly knocking them out the FA Cup. If you could have written a story at the start of the season, then I'm not sure you could even imagine what's ended up happening over the last 10 minutes.
No, it's rightly or wrongly, it's the best season the club have ever had. That's not me blowing my own trumpet, or I'm blowing the trumpet for the lads. In 134, it's never been promoted. Highest ever points total, champions, biggest game in the club's history, in a pandemic on BBC, so there's nowhere else to go, so there's millions and millions of people watching. And to give that sort of account of ourselves, it helps when you can bring on 150 million quid worth of substitutions. But again, that was just another example of how powerful this group are, and we'll enjoy tonight. There's no getting away from that.
Yeah, the group itself, isn't it? There's a unbelievable spirit and togetherness, isn't there? From the young lads all the way to your Scott Flinders, right at the older age group. They really are a very close-knit group, aren't they?
Yeah, it's difficult to single out individuals, so I'm not even going to start mentioning names, because every single one of them, so they'll all get a medal, every single one of them, no matter what contribution they've had on the pitch, because they've all had a contribution off the pitch. And I say it all the time, the most important people at the football club are the 11 that are on the pitch at any moment in time. Not me, not the board, not the supporters, they're the most important people. And sometimes it's easy for players to go, well, when I'm on the pitch, it's all right, and when I'm not going to be all right. We haven't got that in this group. So that's ultimately been the success of the team, is the group.
Emotionally, obviously, you've been rushed off your feet after the full-time whistle with the celebrations and obviously the media duties and the photographs. Of course, preparations for League One probably started even a couple of weeks ago, perhaps, when you got promotion confirmed. But are you going to have the chance to have a bit of relief and perhaps let that weight off the shoulders loosen at least for a few days, maybe?
Yeah, I won't be thinking about anything other than enjoying myself for the next couple of weeks. Like I said, this has been 2 years in the making, so I'm too old, too experienced. These don't come around every week. Next year's going to be really difficult. The fans could be in next year and booing me. So, we're realistic enough to know that because we won't be winning every week at that moment. So 100% I'll be enjoying it, and I'll be savouring every moment.
The qualities the players had to have shown to constantly, with no fans, dig out performances and hang on to 1-0 leads and so on. Is that encouraging for when fans do return to League One level? Because there will be times where you are under the cosh, and that sort of mental strength will be required at an even higher level.
Yeah, I think a lot of them are still here, so it's recognising what's got them where into League One. But we'll go games next. We'll go 5 or 6 games without a win. We'll go 4 or 5 where we consecutively lose games. It's up just to, like I just said, it can't be good when it's good and not when it's not. So when real times of adversity, that's when again you'll see a different side to the group, and hopefully, because we're going to be up against it, nothing more certain we're going to be up against it next year. But we'll worry about that in a couple of days' time.
The Championship regular season also ended today. Sheffield Wednesday were amongst the teams relegated. Already there are some big clubs in League Two, but is that a sign of the sort of challenges that lie ahead? You're playing against a massive club like that, for example.
It could have been Derby and Sheffield Wednesday at one point. So we'll be the smallest budget, I'd imagine. We'll be the smallest club. Maybe the Crew will be bigger than us anyway because they've been in the Championship. So that's the challenge. Historically, in the last probably 10 years, we've been a bottom 6 League Two club. We just won the league. So let's enjoy that, and then we'll start planning for next year and start worrying about where we might or might not be.
The game itself, you had to play against a Harrogate team, of course, came in with their silverware already. We know all too well what they can do against the top teams, given what they did 8 days ago against Cambridge United. It's maybe a slow start, but from that point onwards, when Liam Serkin got the equaliser, it was excellent control of the game.
Definitely a slow start, but we could have scored 7 or 8 today. Harrogate could have scored a couple as well, but I think Serkin's had 3 really good chances from set plays. Alfie's missed a 1-on-1. Willow, even in the last minute, Willow's had a really good chance. There's some really good football today. Probably a little bit more freedom in terms of our play because of where we are, but we opened them up many times, and they had a right good go as well, by the way, Harrogate. They didn't come and roll over. So yeah, really pleased, not too worried about the game really. It's just park it up and enjoy the night.
But were you pleased with the fact that your players came out and not only delivered a win, but they delivered a 4-1 performance in the game where they needed to perform? And it wasn't quite a cup final, but of course the players knew that they wanted to get that title, and that was the quest all week.
I think after last week at Newport, I took a bit of stick at Newport last week, and I'm like, we went to a good team and lost 1-0. We never got going, but the players aren't robots. People have got to understand that they've had an emotional high against Colchester where it's pretty much done. They've had the obvious emotion against Carlisle where they've made history. No matter what, they've made history. Yes, there was a couple of drinks, but they were in on Thursday, in on Friday, trained properly, and we didn't sense it. And it was just a real flat spot. We just couldn't get going. But we were pretty confident this week after parking that up, having a full week's training, preparing how and basically executing how we wanted to play. And I thought today was probably as good as we've been all season, just because of the pressure and other sort of outside influences that we just focused on what we do and got the trophy.
And there will be natural post-season business to take care of, but until the end of June, when we find out the fixtures, a good chance for the players to refresh as well as the whole club to look forward to what is to come.
Yeah, meetings with the players on Tuesday. Unfortunately, the team will get broken up because that's just football. That's the way it happens. It's the sad side of it. That's why it's so important they enjoy each other's company in the next couple of days.